Good morning, my friends, my viewers. Welcome. Welcome to the Wise One channel. I'm your host, Lady Caren. So if you want to grab a coffee, do so. I'm just going to crochet and talk this morning. I hope you guys are doing well. Morning. Yeah, the Wise One channel. I am indeed your host, Lady Caren. And, I'm just going to drink coffee and crochet and talk this morning. Yes. It's regular coffee. I put in the pumpkin spice seasoning. I put in vanilla coffee. I put in brown sugar, and it's just classic roast. It's from Walmart, so it's very affordable for at home if you have that thing to brew at home. So if you want to grab your tea or grab whatever you're going to grab, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, it's morning. Can't believe it's morning. It's Friday already. We're in the middle of June. So I've got some of my goals and projects done, but not as far as I'd like to be in the middle of June. But I can push through, try at the end of June to get it done, the basement, and see if I can move into the basement or something. I'll figure out somewhere to do things. But yeah, mostly cleaning the basement. I'm working on the other project. So I am crocheting a blanket. I'm on a single crochet. I'm using Lions brand yarn, acrylic yarn, off of the Magdala, Mandela, 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 Mandela. Yeah, Mandela. How have I been pronouncing it before? Anyways, it's the Mandela. This one is not the bonus pack, but this started out with this part being from the bonus pack. Finished the bonus pack and got, somewhat done in here. And then where it looks like it's a smaller, probably a 3.5 or 5.3. I thought this was a 5.3 weight. I don't know my hook size. I could never see my hook size. I still haven't looked at it and written it down. But I'm just going to go through and crochet and talk about things are going. Hope you guys are well. It's crazy, all the crazy stuff going on. The news. The U.S. is crazy, though I don't think we've ever been anything else besides crazy. He's quiet in the background, so if you hear something, it's just him in the background. He's good. I'm not going to be worried about it. We had a raccoon this morning walk by the window. I'm like, that's so cool. I love the raccoons. I love all the little nature stuff. Yeah. We used to have a deer come out, but I don't think the deer's around anymore. I don't ever see it anymore. But I didn't see it for a long time, so it could have been coming around for a long time, and I just never saw it. Just never hear it that time of day or something with this part of the window. Looks like I got it into just... Nope, that's right. Okay. Oh. That's a pretty golden, and it's going into a lighter thread back into more of a blonde. So it had like a bronze gold, then lighter, That's gonna be pretty. I've had this where I have a... Shut it up. with I think a single stitch. Nope. I started off after I got done with the chain stitch. I did a double crochet. Then I did, yeah, 2 double crochets, I think, or a double crochet. No, I did a double crochet and then a single, I think, and then I did another double, and then I did, I think, 2 singles. Oh no, then I did a half double. Then I did a single, 1, 2, 2 singles, and then a double, then a half double. And then I did 1, 2, 3, 4 single rows, and then a double, and then a half double, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I think I got maybe 6. And then I did a double, then a half double, then one. So I tried to incrementally increase the rows of single stitch in between doubles, and then with a half double on top. And then somewhere up here, I did a double on every stitch, whereas these I was skipping a stitch. So every other stitch, I put a double in it. And so it gave it the more space. And then up here, I did a double and a half double on top, or just a single. It may have just gone into a single. So I broke the pattern up here. So, yeah, it looks pretty either way. So as long as you go all the way through, if you've made a mistake with the row, like you were trying to do singles and then you did a double, and you just do that many more singles and then another double. Yeah, as long as you continue with like doing the same thing, it becomes a pattern. So it's not a mistake as it is, it's a pattern. So it becomes a pattern, which is basically um, like apples, 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 bananas, apples, 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 bananas. It's the same thing. It becomes a pattern. So you're just doing the same thing over and over. So, you know, it just becomes uniquely yours if it's not a very common thing. Nobody else does it. Or I figured I've just discovered something that somebody may have already done. That's my luck. It just makes sense to do it. So then somebody else is obviously going to do it. But that's basically what I'm doing, crocheting like an old lady, trying to get a blanket out of all this yarn. I'm just gonna have to try to find all this yarn. See if I can find. I got more yarn. I finally found my stash. Probably have more yarn than that. And just keep going, until I have a blanket to throw on the bed. I wanted it like huge to feel like an actual blanket. Those are expensive. Yeah, it's expensive. Or I'm just getting it from an expensive place. One of the two. Or from Walmart. And this other one I bought from the store around here that's up around here. It's like one of the ones that did the supermarket all in one place. One of the first ones. Kind of stores. Yeah. They have a hardware store, yeah, and then they had a vision and a dream and wanted to be part of the community, and they're giving back to the community in ways. That's what owning a grocery store is. That's what the Wise One store is when you can give back. Prioritize the people. I was just thinking, like, do you prioritize the customer or the workers? And the thing is, you can't prioritize one over the other. You have to prioritize the people over the business. Otherwise, people are the ones that need the business. Employees are the ones that are willing to work at your job. Now it would have been needed job. Nowadays it's willing, you know. Do. That's the important part. We're on Friday, so I'm being far more consistent and I'm getting things done. And yesterday I had to rest a lot. Like a lot. Because I was upping the pace. So I'm gonna rest and then I'm gonna up the pace again, and then I'm gonna rest and then I'm gonna up the pace. I'm trying to get as much done as I can that I'm able to do. Clean. I can eat freak and then. So I want to get, before the 21st, I want to get all that in the other room done. And but I was impressed. It's like, it looks good. It's just a section. I'm doing section by section. So at least when you do, like, when you have a good couple of decades worth of stuff that you just threw together and moved from one location to another, because people under stress can do that. It's a stress response or trauma response, in a dramatic way. So I'm going to go through it and reduce it or liquidate it as much as possible. And so I might not be able to sell until August. June is, I'm just cleaning stuff so I can work on things in July. July, I'm just going to work on stuff, even if I bring the inventory outside to work on, and then and see if I can network and put up the website in next month and work on mostly I'll be working on inventory, because some of it just might go to friends or something like that, or locals. I'm going to try sell local as much as possible, just to build a repertoire. But yeah, and then if there's any craft shows, do crafting and stuff like that. But upcycle, get the kids into it as much as possible. I felt like I needed to clean it, make it, promote it, and sell it all at the same time. And I know that's not how people have done it, but definitely going to get to the crafting part. So July is where I'm going to craft. It'll be, yeah. It's going to be an art. And it's probably going to be a lost art. They show up on weird documentaries. Lost art of upcycling. So yeah, I'm going to try to upcycle all my stuff. We upcycled box stuff today, cardboard stuff yesterday, the other day. Not Thursday, Wednesday. We upcycled Wednesday. The window unit was not cooperating, so instead of the little flappies on the side, we just put up cardboard and just, yeah, called it good. When the rain comes, I don't know what we're going to do. I might do some waterproofing on the box, the back of the box. It would take a lot of layers of spray paint, but.
Or a trash bag and duct tape.
Trash bag! Why didn't I think of that? And duct tape. See, I need him in my life. I mean, the way I did it is not intelligent, but, more efficient. I am all game for more efficient. Trash bag. But now we'll look like the dilapidated house.
It is right now.
Huh?
That's what it is right now.
Not yet. We'll do some magic. We'll get it up and going when we get back into the property. We'll work some magic. I'll call all my friends. We'll get it going. Make it look like a little cute little witch's cottage that only the brave will enter. I'll go get some wildflowers. Yeah. I need demo. Yeah. Okay, so did we count? No, we did not count. We don't count our stitches. Are you nuts? If we counted our stitches, our sides would it look like this? This is how crazy I am. Look at this edge. That's the straighter part of the edge. Look at that. Nobody has edges like this in their blankets. If we had counted our edges. Well, that's so silly. Why would anybody crocheting do that? No. No. We don't crochet edges. But yeah, it is morning and I've got 101 things to do. But if I tell myself I've got 101 things to do, I'll do nothing. Like, I want to get into this and I will do that because I think I have PDA, pathological demand avoidance. I will avoid demand. It's possible. It's not diagnosed. So we'll look at it as a possible demand avoidance. I would rather die than comply with demand, which is probably a trauma response. Yeah. I think everybody in the family has it. Well, it's not so much has it, it's just signed that way, I think, It's the way we have responded to our trauma. We want to demand it. So I would try to demand less and work it through. But there's other people who won't do anything unless it's demanded of them, unless they're told directly to do, which is odd. Because you got some people who won't do it if you demand it, and other people who won't do it if you do demand it. So you got to know people. So the treating people differently. So how do you treat people inclusively? If some avoid the demands, like other people won't do it unless it's demanded of them. But like somebody tells you, "Give me all your money," but like, no, shoot me. I'd rather you shoot me. And versus somebody who'd be like, "And if you'd like to donate," all of a sudden I donate. I've been thinking yesterday about culturally how much of our language is a transgression or a microaggression or how much of it is like a joke at somebody's expense or a hint at some atrocity or, you know, because I think most of human history, well, I would say most of human history because of the way I was raised, probably a line from people who didn't know any better and who we all suffered because they didn't know any better. Their ignorance. But it's also so yeah, but it doesn't matter where my ancestors stood in the Civil War. It just matters what I do with my life. Hmm? I make it matter more than, you know, whatever my ancestors were like. Because my ancestors probably weren't, you know, if they were intelligent, they got lost somewhere in our family legacy. And yeah. So culturally. So I've been learning to live culturally neurodivergent rather than neurotypical, which is because neurotypical culture is drenched in implications, and you meant this even though you said that, and a lot of neurodivergents are literally what we say is what we mean. I mean, if we tell you we are happy, we are actually happy. If we tell you, you know, that we didn't enjoy it, some of us, because it's a spectrum, and so there's many ways for this to go, as there are many people with neurodivergence. So learning how to cultivate sarcasm. It's kind of fun. I've had sarcasm, but I'm not very good at it. One of the things that popped to mind with the word sarcasm is I met these clones. What I mean by clones is I met these brothers, and I found out, you know, after I've seen their dad, these guys look exactly the same with the slightest bit of difference. They look like freaking identical twins. They're not the same age, but they could have been identical twins. And I knew the younger brother because he hung out with the person I hung out with. And then we were going to go do some sort of trip or something. And I was, you know, early adult out on my own, or nearly out on my own. I was probably, yeah, I was 17 because I still lived at a parent's house. My dad went to come pick me up, and I wasn't where I told them if we're not here, we're here. And it completely left my brain that, hey, I should call my dad because I just figured I'd be back, I guess, or I hadn't like remembered that I was going to get picked up or something. And I was kind of airhead like that. Remember, I had brain fog from my anemia, and my stomach ache was, you know, so it wasn't my intention. I just, you know, so his older brother came to pick up me and who I was out with or who I was hanging with. And I opened the door, I step into the vehicle, I lifted my head, and I go, "You guys don't look exactly alike at all." He goes, "Well, that's not the most," if that, or he says, "I couldn't tell that was sarcastic at all," or something like that. He said, what did he say? I have to get back into the memory. He goes, if that wasn't the most sarcastic phrase or sarcastic thing I've ever heard anybody say at all. And no, he used at all. So it was, I definitely remember the at all and almost a drawl to it. So he says, if that wasn't sarcastic at all, or no. No, that's what he said. That wasn't sarcastic at all. I remember the at all, boys, cowboys, hats, and all that stuff. I'm like, oh. So I was just, I don't know if I was just learning sarcasm or I was just getting used to it because I was one of those gullibles written on the ceiling people. But yeah, it wasn't that I wasn't intelligent. It's just that I didn't understand my intelligence so that I couldn't utilize my highly intelligent self. And that is a hefty price to pay for your life to turn out vastly different when you don't understand your intelligence. You don't understand the ways that you're intelligent. Because a lot of people are considered dumb, and dumb is not a real thing. Except for, yeah, that ex-president. Yeah, that's a whole different ballgame. So I was thinking about how the phrases and everything we said, how it's dripped and derived from so much atrocity, so much of our atrocities, so much of the things that where others were suppressed, anywhere from our clothing to the way we do things, the way we use our words, the way that we use our phrases, the way that we do things is so much an oppression of some other demographics, whether it's female versus male versus, somebody, migrations versus slavery versus all this other stuff. And how a lot of it, I mean, a lot of what we say, you know, it's fascinating how much and what we do and what we say, and the way that we built, the fact that we have lawns, the fact that we have cute little nursery rhymes, almost all the nursery rhymes. And they're like, don't cancel my culture. A funny thing is, our culture did everything to wipe out every other culture. And then you've got this culture of neurodivergence who don't understand hierarchy. But there are probably those who are hyper hierarchy, hyper caste system, hyper, who everybody has a place. But you got a lot of people who don't understand their place. I'll friggin' talk to, and trying to think of a really good, big, famous Angelina Jolie. I'd probably be like, "Hi, how are you? What's your day doing?" And somebody else would be like, "Oh my God, it's Angelina Jolie." It's just Angelina Jolie. She's a human being. She does work, and I enjoy her work. I enjoy her shows. I enjoy, it's fun to watch her. But that admiration of somebody who's I had another person, I was like, "We should send, a birthday card to the Queen." This was back before, may she rest in peace. This was back then, and, they're like, "You can't do that, she's the Queen." I'm like, "She's got the same birthday as so many other people who have birthdays on the same day. Of course she would like, how would she not like a card?" There's nothing publicly done saying, "You can't send cards to her. She doesn't want cards. Please don't send birthday cards." I was like, "We could invite her over. She doesn't have to take up the invitation." But they're like, "No, you can't do that. That's so." I'm like, "It's a human being. We would love, as a human being, I would love invites, even if I don't take people up on invites." Treating people like people, no matter the age, no matter the gender, no matter the religion, no matter the financial status, no matter the, any demographic, wherever they come from, treating them like they have thoughts and feelings and that they're human beings and that they have, desires and want to do things and be a certain, I just want to be at peace. I just want tranquility. I want to fulfill my dream. I want to be a millionaire. I want to not have so many restrictions. I want to be free. I want the freedom to speak, freedom to, I don't want to have to listen to the bombs go off. I don't want, the forest to burn down anymore. Like global warming, just take a pause. I'd like to go see my family. These things, these people have needs, wants, and life. They should be free to live, and they should be afforded, should I say, entitled to human decency. Such as food, water, shelter, and respect to each other. You should respect yourself. And just the basics, Education, access to education. Um, uh, and it shouldn't be, listen to this one, it shouldn't be forced on people the way they should be. Is that a double there? Not quite a double negative. It's, what is that, like a double positive or double something? Something cancels out something, right? Shouldn't be forced on us to be who we are. Maybe there'd be less suffering. Now the question is, like, what do people want? What do you want? Is this the last straight? Does that look straight to you? I don't know. Or does that look decreased? It's relatively. I think I have to change. Did I do one? Did I skip one? What did I do there? That is a mess over here. What in the world? Okay, this did something and now we're all messed up. Now I go, what? Let's do it. That's like a little peephole in the peephole in the door. Yeah. Uh, I don't. Oh, it's a bird. It's a pretty little. What kind of bird is that? It reminds me of a sparrow in the shape and the size. Teeny tiny. It's a little thing. I love the nature that just shows up at the window. Let me see what I do here. Let me see if I can get this edge done. Let me try a couple stitches and see if it's straight. Is that straight? No, that is not. That is not straight. What is that? I'm like, I have to do something about this gun here. Maybe I could chain two. Chain one. Maybe I could chain two. Chain two, and then we'll put it into the next stitch instead of the same stitch. We'll see if that looks more like a corner. Does that look like more like a corner? That looks more like a corner. Yeah, that's better. That's what happens when you don't count. Uh, I don't know. There are some people in this world that, yeah, like Disney has. You understand how Disney has this mentality of this binary: either you're a good person or you're a villain. I really had to learn to take outside of the Disney culture, to take this culture of learning to look at it from the point of view of the villain, or to look at the fact that the story was written by the victor. So the villain thought they were doing the right thing. Very rarely do you hear somebody, well, I'm going to be, nowadays you hear it because Disney has cultivated it somehow, but rarely do they say, well, I'm going to be a villain and you want me to be the bad guy. That's really Disney. You want me to be the bad guy, I'll be the bad guy. But I mean, like, I don't even think people had bad guy mentalities, or like parents go, well, you're good parent, bad parent. I'm like, I don't think they for themselves thought politically different or just thought different. And they had, so embrace these differences. It's either you think like me and that makes you right, or you think differently and that makes you wrong. That I don't understand how that got cultivated so dense in our culture. And so then when we face somebody with different opinions, we villainize them, and this is so different and this is so bad. And what really throws me for a loop is you could take apart a argument by taking a certain aspect and proving it wrong. And that person is no longer reliable. But that person had a momentary lapse in judgment or in learning how to verify and check their work. That that person is wrong, and that person is no longer a reliable source, and that person, is terrible with the whole thing. They're not allowed, so finite. I'm sure there's instances where that could be applied and be valid. This world is full of so many possibilities, but he and I fought a lot. Like, I mean, like, a lot. If you've seen my previous videos. But it doesn't stop all the qualities that I'm in love with about him and him. The whole him, including the qualities that I just don't like or don't mesh with me or don't go with who I am, doesn't mean that I shouldn't have the whole thing in my life, whether I like it or not. So I want the whole him, and I mostly concentrate on the parts that I like. I try not to make his identity the parts that I like about him. I try not to. I'm probably failing. Am I failing at that?
What?
Never mind, he wasn't listening. We should just continue as if, never mind. We love him. He's cute. Yeah. But yeah, I'm still learning. And so when we value less about knowledge, because knowledge can change and knowledge can be brought into new light, and value more about learning about knowledge and ability to acquire and process, retain, and use our knowledge, as that used to be a weapon against people who were not taught. So if we take a hold of the essence of intelligence, and instead of applying intelligence in a knowledgeable versus unknowledgeable way, I mean, it's got its roots a lot of different places and it springs up. So I'm learning as I go along that that's a knowledge, not a sign of intelligence. That's a sign that that person learned this stuff, but they're not yet all knowing, and all knowing is some weird fictitious thing. So I've been learning in my wisdom that to value their intelligence or to value them as a person or to value the whole them. And I may not like certain behaviors, and whether or not I will tolerate being in the presence of certain behaviors, or I don't have to like everything about that person. That person doesn't have to be on a pedestal. I did put a lot of people on pedestals and they fell down and then I hated them. That's it's not a good thing. But so now I'm learning if this person hurts me to put a boundary there, and until or unless they have a way of proving that they're not going to cross that boundary in my presence, or that I am safe in their presence, showing a way that they show that they are no longer going to harm me or harm those that I love, then I can let them again in my life. But a lot of them, I'm not. They just have that like personality, like yeah. So whether or not forgiveness is there, but forgiveness is more of I put down this boundary. I have this consequence, and if you cross this boundary, this is the consequence that's going to happen. And sometimes it's no longer my presence. So if it costs me, what's that saying? God, I love that saying. If it costs me my peace, it's too damn expensive. If you're wasting my time, it's too excessive. I can't do the Caribbean accent right now, but it's so cute. Or not cute, but so I love it. And yeah, so taking care of your own peace of mind in your own time and investing your own time, then they're gonna sit with their own. If it's causing you issues, it's probably costing them a peace of mind as well. And when you make decisions, if you want the result of those decisions to come out, take a look at your state of mind that you're in. If you're in a more peaceful state of mind, it's more true. Your decision-making skills tend to improve. If you're in a distress, your decision-making skills tend to, like, why'd you go upstairs? The killer's in the house. You gotta leave the house. Why run to, why trap yourself? Like, it's a killer. Don't go into the woods. Or whatever that they all like, this part of saying you don't do this in a horror movie, and they're doing this and they're falling and they're They're trying to run and they're tripping and they're panicking. So in a fight or flight mode, we don't have thoughts as clear as we do when we're at rest and digest mode. And that's so I've been trying to exercise the muscle of relaxing and the muscle of coming from a stronger, uh, peaceful mind frame. So it doesn't mean that I have to be happy or have good feelings. It's just I have to be at peace or to be calm or a calm mind or a regulated emotions, whatever anybody wants to throw those around. Then I make a decision, and those decisions last me a very long time with certain results that I prefer. They're like for me, sort of like growing good bacteria versus bad bacteria. If you grow fermented foods or something, like you want yogurt, you want certain bacteria for yogurt and cheese, and you don't want any of the fuzzy wuzzy bacteria. Um, like you want certain bacteria to grow for penicillin, but you don't want the other bacteria to grow, the ones that will harm us. Certain fungi, you want the edible mushrooms versus the non-edible mushrooms. You don't want the non-edible mushrooms because those are poisonous. So your thoughts, you want to grow this muscle, and it takes time, especially if you've been through trauma. It's taken me a long time to grow a state of mind in which I can approach making decisions and approach the method that I do things that give me a sense of control. And control is an illusion. Forget that control exists, but you can get a sense of control. So they'll say reaction versus to react something versus acting. Hey, I caught you again. Hi, Kristen. So good to see you. Using my other new account. How are you? I'm doing good. How are you doing? It's good to see you. I've got about 2 minutes, and we've got a visitor. My youngest just come say hi. I'm recording. Do you want to say? Oh, do you want to say something on your tuchus? Why don't you put something on your tuchus? Go get a skirt or something.
You're on camera.
You're running through. Streaking. No, not quite streaking, but I just woke up, so I'm going to be getting ready to go. I'm okay. Glad it's the weekend. So am I. I'm so glad the weekend is here. And I'm trying to figure out how to fill my weekend. Kirsten says, "Hi, little one." I'm going. You get to do. You're having your daughter day. Kirsten says, "Hi, little one," from YouTube. She giggles. She's giggling. She's not quite awake. So yeah. But yeah, I'm almost done with this. Such a cute giggle though.
After Mom sent it with the video.
Actually, yeah.
I really want to put on my dress.
Yeah. They've got a fun day planned. Oh no, not planned. They've got a fun day that they're just gonna go do. They're gonna just do a fun day for them. And then I'm gonna go try to get some of my chores done. Some of the chores and errands that I have to run. And I don't want to do it, but I want it done. I want it done more than I don't want to do it. My weekend plans are, well, after that, I'm going to try to, because I want to get, I have years and years of stuff piled up that I moved from one place to another. I just, threw the stuff together. I didn't even pack it. I just threw stuff together from one place to the other. And so it's all in one spot in the other room. So it's piled high of just collections of stuff and such disarray. So I have to go through it, and then I have to upcycle it and then liquidate it. So I'm going to go through all that stuff and clean it. and try to get an area where I can upcycle it and stuff. Next month, I'll be doing the crafting to upcycle it and trying to get the website going so that I can sell or to sell it local at like a craft show or something, a yard sale. Yours, what are your weekend plans? Sounds like a good plan. I hope so. Cross fingers. I'm probably going to, oh no, suffer because I'm in the middle of a heat wave. Oh no, not doing much, lying around, drinking lots of fluids to get like ice, and I'm trying to think how I survive. Sometimes I go to the library. I don't know if you guys' local library is close enough for you to be able to get to and be able to. I don't know how you're feeling, so I don't know if you're feeling good enough to go. Um, so like the library, I've gone to the library to sit there and encourage the kids to read.
Spring Lake Library.
They're in another country. She's in another country. So yeah, I'm trying to think air conditioning wise. Lots of water and salt. I need more salt than normal. That's a struggle. Yeah, I use coconut water. It's got a lot of electrolytes. She's in the Netherlands. I live in your future. She lives in your future. She's from the Netherlands. I keep trying to remember because I was like, yeah. And I should study more, like all the other countries, but geography, when I was a kid, was not my strong suit. I'm like 6 hours ahead. She's 6 hours ahead of me, of you. So like where it's this time now, it's like, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon there. She's having her lunchtime or after her lunchtime. And then, we're gonna have to figure out breakfast, and she's already figured out lunch either way. So yeah. Yeah, it's not too hot today, but it should be warming up this weekend. So I've been thinking about trying to figure out how to get some of the outside stuff done. That's not too hot to do. And so the cooking has to be done at night too. Same. I'm 33, almost 34, and only now starting to learn the American states. Was never taught that in school. I was taught, but I never learned because I thought I was too poor and going to be stuck in the same spot financially that I would never have the money to travel. So why add injury to insult about learning about places that I was never going to be able to go? I mean, why learn about these amazing places that I'm never going to be able to see? So geography was bad. I was taught it in school. I mean, I was like, wow, it sounds so fascinating. I'm never going to be able to see it. I'm never going to be able to leave this town. You should have seen me when I left this from one state to the other state. Holy cow, I was amazed the fact that I could leave one state to the other state. And now with technologies, you don't have to leave your house. You can have contact with people all over the world. Yep, that's awesome. Yes, exactly. That is the most awesome, wonderful part is because I can learn about everybody from everywhere and even from Netherlands, or the Louvre. You could visit the Louvre virtually online. They did that for COVID because they didn't really want people coming to the Louvre. So to see all the artwork, I thought that was amazing. Who would have thought that when we were little? I know. When I was little, I mean, the internet wasn't yet a thing, and then learned more about the internet as it developed. And I was a kid. He was a teenager. He was learning all about the other aspects of the internet and yeah, technology. So it does make it more affordable for us to like leave our house and reach and all that stuff. It went fast though. Yeah, it did go pretty fast. And I was watching last night about ancient Armageddons, and how they had the Mediterranean had the water pathways in the Bronze Age. I was thinking how, you know, they didn't talk, they had letters, clay tablet letters of how from one place to the other. So they had what we have like instant, you know, talk to you like now, time during now, which is fascinating. It's very fascinating. But they had to wait until the letter got there, like those old times when, not old times, those classic times when they used to play chess by pen pal. I remember those. But I mean, to think the clay tablets were like, hey, send grain, please. We're dying of a 300-year famine, which I still can't wrap my head around. Is they're discovering that there was this famine that affected the Mediterranean area back in the day when we had to ride horse for the days to send the message. Yeah, yeah. And that lasted a while. That lasted from horse and buggy or train to recently, to the internet. So like sending an email, you know, so we started sending emails and messaging and instant messaging. It just, the evolution still blows my mind. The fact that they went from letter for the longest time as a point of communication, the fact that it lasted for so long. Do you remember ICQ? ICQ.
Internet chat.
Yeah, internet chats, but I don't know if we called them.
No, ICQ was a particular one. It was like,
Oh, I don't think I had ICQ. I know we had. What chat systems did we have?
I had ICQ.
Oh, you had them?
I had it.
That was the first program to chat with people. Yeah. And I used webcams for the first time. Yeah. I remember I knew how to. It's funny because the way I was introduced to the internet, I was introduced to the internet before I was introduced much to the computer. I knew how to navigate the internet more than I knew how to turn on the computer. Before I knew how to turn on the computer, I knew how to send emails and messages. Yeah. I still remember. Oh my gosh, you remember your ICQ number? You got a good memory. You got a real good memory. I don't even know if I have. Which I think the chat systems I had, I don't think they're around anymore. I think they're gone. I don't think they're up and running. So yeah. Oh, it is 8:09. So I am going to there. Yeah, I remember MSN Messenger, and I remember what was the one that AOL. AOL was like this virus you couldn't get rid of. I remember you put it on your computer, it just would not leave. You couldn't really uninstall it. I remember that one. AOL was and the discs were everywhere. And I remember the nightmare that was AOL. Holy crap. Because, yeah, my mom had that one. Yeah, like everybody we knew, somebody had it. But the thing is, you couldn't uninstall it. So if it gave you problems, it was still popping up like it was. I remember that one. I remember dial-up too. I remember dial-up was a big thing. I remember that noise. Oh my gosh, it's seared into my brain. That thing made her buy a brand new computer. I love the new one. Yeah. And computers, like, how expensive they were and how expensive they still are. But the facts, she says hi. Yeah. Yeah, computers were nuts, and the price of inflation, they're still nuts. So the phones now are basically mini computers. Still waiting for the ones that fit on the wrist.
Flowers on my dress.
Yep, she's got flower on her dress, and she's got flowers that are red and white.
Yes.
I had my hair the same way when I was her age. Oh, she had a similar haircut. She had the same haircut when she was your age. It's cute. So cute. So, did you want to tell her thank you, or did you?
Thank you.
And she's off, and she's running. She's off. I've got to figure out breakfast. We're all going to be hungry. Yeah. Let me see. On the stitch. Yeah. Yep. I got to get going. How come it is that it always catch me just before I end? I say bacon and eggs. I don't have bacon. I can't eat bacon. Or pancakes. I can probably make pancakes. I've got gluten-free flour I'm going to try. So I could probably try the gluten-free pancakes. Yeah, check this out. Like it so far. Alright. So I'm going to try gluten-free pancakes, and then I have regular flour in case I mess it up. Same. Everything's gluten-free and lactose-free. We've got lactose-free cow milk where they've ultra pasteurized it, and I made yogurt with that. It's pretty good. I wish I could do that. Do you have all the supplies, or? Yeah, this took me years to learn how to get this far, and this is not very far. There are people that like crochet like stuffies and things like that, and I'm just trying to. Yeah, mine's not straight. This is not straight at all. This is my wibbly wobble. These are my edges. It's not supposed to look like that. Like I went straight, sort of, and then I went. It looks like a time blanket. Oh my gosh, this is how time works. Wibbly wobbly. It's not very straight. I want to learn how to crochet. I learned from my first mother-in-law, and I didn't learn. She taught well. To learn, my brain just thinks differently. When fall hits, I buy supplies and start watching YouTube videos and hopes to learn it. Yeah, it's the way to do it. And then there's also books. Like sometimes they come as a kit, and then but hopefully the price of yarn will come down. I don't know what the price of yarn is out there, but I know that in here it's getting crazy. We got new shoes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get into barefoot shoes and things like that.
But
so that the back, so we don't have
these.
back problems. Oh my
No
god, when she grows up. Yeah.
And they really thick.
But yeah, it just I kept going with like pot holders, washcloths, little squares, and scarves, and now I'm trying my first blanket. I did a hood. Understand patterns yet.
3 hoods. Like I was the first one to have a hood.
I saw some awesome colors
Mom,
of yarn for $3. Oh, that's impressive.
Mom, I was the first one to have a crocheted hood.
Yes, you were. Your crocheted hood is upstairs.
I know.
The cute little hat.
And
then my other one has a yellow hood, and then I have a purple blue with a yellow streak on my hood.
Whoa. It doesn't really have a
Purple. I have no idea what's correct.
Blue.
Boil of yarn. A rainbow one boil of yarn. We call them skeins. There's balls, skeins, cakes. I just discovered cakes, and like bonus bundles, which are just giant cakes. Cakes are wrapped like this. Oops. Like this one's a cake where they wrapped it like this, and then it's just easier to unwrap. And then we have skeins. So I don't know what they call it in the Netherlands. So that's interesting what they call it. Like, because our single crochet in the UK, I've known somebody who's gone on a UK video, and they call it double crochet, and they call it a treble crochet. Their double is the same thing we call a double crochet. So then it starts to get weird. I do know how to make a hat. Woo! round crochet things. I am still learning to try to do a round crochet. I can do oval, but I haven't figured out round. Yeah. I've also made a scarf once with that thing, but I haven't made anything with just your needle and your hands. Oh, so you got one of those things that like weaves it or something, or how do you make a hat with a round crochet thing? I've made a scarf. I used a crochet tool that's round in different sizes. Oh, sweet. I love the inventions and things that people have. It's really yeah. It is time for me to get breakfast going. I can hear his stomach grumbling. Or is that mine? I can't tell. But yeah, so I will let you go.
I wanted to do it better in the morning, Dad.
What?
Oh, she is ready to start her day. But yeah,
Is that not a big test, or
love you.
just putting
I love you
down
guys
the-
all.
Yeah.
I love all of you. Love you. And until next week we meet. Have a great day. And a great weekend. You too. Good luck cleaning. Mwah, 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 mwah.
I accidentally did on my nose.
All right. Until next we meet. I hope you have a good one.
I need to get ready, Dad.